I think we good. I think we good. I think we good. I think we good, y'all. Y'all already know what time it is. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's great? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping in each and every Sunday and Wednesday. So again, I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 12. So continue to like, subscribe, share, hit that all notification bell. It helps with the growth of the show. We have the Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast playlist available right now with over 600 rewatchable videos for your viewing and entertainment. And it is funny, it is fire, it has everything. Great for conversational starters, friends, families as well. Shout out to the chat. The chat is deep in the building, and of course, I'm cross-platforming on both platforms, TikTok and TikTok and YouTube. For those who are on my TikTok, you want to join the YouTube is at Ashley Lovechild, and for my regulars on YouTube, if you want to join the TikTok, is at Ashley Lovechild Mojo. Let's get the show started. And again, shout out to the chat. Quick shout out to the chat. Uh, Shout out to Ebony in the building. Shout out to Tremont in the building. Shout out to Winter in the building. Shout out to King P in the building. And these are all badge holders. Big badge holders, by the way. Shout out to all of y'all in the building. Shout out to Hazel in the building. Shout out to y'all, man, holding it down in the building, showing major love. Shout out to Shay in the building. Yo, it's mad love in the building, man. So, let's get this show started. We're going to have a lot of fun. Why is this not okay? We're gonna have a lot of fun. Y'all know how we do. If this your first time tuning in and tapping in, we talk about everything here. Everything. Sports, entertainment, movies, social comments, everything that's going on in the world. We speak about it all. We have fun with it. We do it in a real respectful way, but we have the serious conversation and we have the fun conversation. So you already know what it is. Shout out to CC in the building. Appreciate you for tuning and tapping in, my brother. Appreciate that as usual. And again, shout out to the TikTok cross-platforming on both platforms. All right, y'all, let's get this thing started. Y'all already know the only op we recognize over here is opportunity. We only celebrate life culture over here. Hate has a location. It's just not here. I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, it's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Also, no, we can skip that. So let's get this thing started. First segment of the night, popular opinions. Y'all already know, y'all, these are not my questions. These are the world's questions. Stick to the answers in the questions. Popular Opinions is brought to you by OUV Records. You go to Instagram at OUV Records and stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. The label motto is create, document, and inspire. And be on the lookout for that new OUV Records app where you can get music directly and exclusively from OUV Records artists. And it's going to be fire, better listen, better visuals. It's going to be absolute fire. All right, y'all. First popular opinion question of the night. Best 90s snack as a kid. Best 90s snack as a kid. Number 1, Dunkaroos. Number 2, Pizza Hut pan pizza. Number 3, Lunchables. Number 4, Pez candies. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, best 90s snack on this list as a kid. Best 90s snack as a kid on this list. Again, number 1 was Dunkaroos. Number 2, Pizza Hut pan pizza. Number 3, Lunchables. Number 4, Pez candies. I don't know if y'all remember Pez like that, but Pez used to definitely be popping. A lot of people remember Pez, as I'm seeing on this list so far. So shout out to y'all in the chat. And again, hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. Cross-platforming on both TikTok and YouTube. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. For me, out of all these, I had a good time with all these little snackities growing up as a kid. Dunkaroos used to hit different. Dunkaroos used to be a good time. You know, I know my mother wasn't asleep, but to get to the kitchen, me and my brother had to pass her room. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? We had to find creative ways to tippy toe to the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? To sneak them Dunkaroos, cause just one for lunch, that wasn't enough, baby. You know what I'm saying? I need two. I need more sugar. You know what I'm saying? But me personally, that Pizza Hut pan pizza, oh my God! But I got it. I got that probably the least amount. Lunchables used to hit different too. I'm not gonna hold you. Lunchables used to be a whole good time. Me out of all of these, I'm gonna have to go with Dunkaroos, bro, cause I ain't gonna hold you. I could kill a whole box as a kid. I'm not gonna hold you at one sitting too. So I'm gonna go with Dunkaroos on this one. I'm going with Dunkaroos. Dunkaroos, good time right there. That's just me personally. Shout out to the chat, Ebony. She said Lunchables. Shout out to Ebony and the big badge holder. Lunchables. Oh my God, they were expensive as a kid, but they were chef's kiss. So she said Lunchables. Shout out to Paul. We got Paul in the building. Good night, all everyone. Appreciate Paul in the building. As always, one of our loyals, one of our day ones. Appreciate you for tapping in, Paul. CC, damn. We used to fight for the last Dunkaroos. I'm trying to tell you, bro. Dunk out. I honestly believe Dunkaroos, the company that made Dunkaroos, used to put the same chemical that they make Coke with, because it was something that it kept you coming back. You know what I'm saying? What Chris Rock say in New Jack City? It keep calling me. It keep calling me. That Dunkaroos kept calling me. So I'm going with Dunkaroos. That was a whole good time as a kid when it comes to best 90s snack, in my opinion. In the chat, I'm seeing Dunkaroos, just like me, you know what I'm saying? But I also saw Lunchables in the chat. The rest of the world at 56%, mind y'all, over 289,000 people voted on this. Went with Pizza Hut pan pizza. The personal pizza, I should say. The Pizza Hut personal pizza. Sorry, it said Pizza Hut personal pan pizza. I ain't gonna hold you. That was a good time too. Anytime I had to go to my mother's job for any other thing, she hit me off with a little fiver. You know what I'm saying? I'll go across the street to Pizza Hut, $3.95. You know what I'm saying? Get me a little drink with that chips. For $5, I had me a whole lunch. So I'm just saying that was a good time. I'm not mad at the people that went with Pizza Hut, not at all, cause that was. But that's not an everyday snack. Dunkaroos to me is. It's always in the clutch, you know what I'm saying? Even Lunchables. Y'all said in the chat, Lunchables was hella expensive as a kid. Somebody got paid good money to get Lunchables on a regular. That's all I'm saying. Nobody picked Pez. Pez was a good time too, but yeah, I'm not mad at y'all for going with Pizza Hut personal pan pizza. I'm not mad at that. Shout out to the chat. Again, y'all don't forget to hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. All right, y'all, moving on to our next popular opinion question. Favorite rapper turned actor. Favorite rapper turned actor on this list. Number 1, LL Cool J. Number 2, Will Smith. Number 3, Queen Latifah. Number 4, Ice Cube. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Oh, man, we got my dog, Rowan Jack, in the building. One of our day ones. One of our biggest contributors on the pod, man. Thank you, Rowan Jack, for tuning and tapping in. One of our mods, man. And super duper big badge holder, man. Shout out to Rowan Jack, one of our super day ones, man. Happy MLK weekend. Terry Crews, CC Motions, Ash, when you hit the last Dunkaroos and pretended y'all ran out. Bro, it was real out here. It was real out here. I was more of a savage with my Dunkaroos. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, like, cause honestly, it's just me and my older brother. And being that my older brother was, considerably some years ahead of me, I only had to worry about when my cousins was around. You know what I'm saying? Cause my moms always would be like, "Yo, share with your cousins." Come on, man. Like, that's crazy, man. I'm trying to hit the Dunkaroos. You know what I'm saying? Paul, she said Will Smith. She said Will Smith. Um, Me personally, ah, see, all of them are great actors, so there's no wrong answer on this list to me personally. LL Cool J, I don't think nobody could have bodied the way he bodied the character God in Too Deep. Like LL Cool J has some iconic roles that he's played. I thought he was absolutely funny in Delirious from Eva. In the House was a classic TV show. So he's had different things in acting that was just out of the park when it comes to acting. You know what I mean? Will Smith. I mean, Will Smith had the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as a show, and he has some great movies. I like this character as Hitch. I like this character in I Am Legend. I thought I Am Legend was, that was just a crazy concept, and the fact that he was basically the only actor in the movie is probably like one out of like five people in the whole entire movie. So he's Will Smith has had movies. Independence Day, he's bodied it all. Queen Latifah, I'm saying she had Living Single. I love her role as oh my God, I can't think of her name, but the character on Set It Off, she was outstanding. And there's Ice Cube. Ice Cube is probably the only one that's missing a TV show that was like a TV show for him. Like he's been on TV shows, but something that's for him, right? But when you think of the movies, you think of Friday, you think of First Sunday, you think of Trespass, you think of Glass Shield, you think of Anaconda, Dangerous Ground, Janky Promoter. So you think of all of these movies that Ice Cube has done and probably was the best in those movies. The standout character in these movies, in my opinion. And All About the Benjamins. Well, obviously there's Mike Epps. Mike Epps probably stole, those movies that he's in with Mike Epps. But you get what I'm saying. Now, Ice Cube, to me, his characters always last longer than me. So I'm going to go with Ice Cube, in my opinion. In the chat, I seen Will Smith more so in the chat. Shout out to Roll Jack, you stupid. He said Jada Pickett's husband, 7 pounds. I could never get into 7 pounds. Every time I try to watch it, within the first 20 minutes, I'm like, I'm cool. I love Concussion, though. Concussion was fire. I love Concussion. That's probably one of, I'll say, though, it's probably 3 Will Smith movies I cannot get into. 7 Pounds is one of them. One of the first movies he ever did was where he plays like an eccentric young kid that deals with a rich family. I can't get into that movie. And there's another one, but everything else has been fire. Gemini Man was fire. Obviously, the Bad Boy series is fire. Damn, you got Bad Boys though. Damn. All right, so I'm gonna switch mine to Will Smith because I gotta account for Bad Boys. I didn't count Bad Boys, y'all. I did. So all right, so I'm gonna switch my answer to Will Smith. I'm going with y'all in the chat. So Will Smith for y'all in the chat. Will Smith for me. Shout out to Denise in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in. Hit them likes. Hit the 100s. Paul, the standards of making it as an actor. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, Paul. I know what you're talking about. It used to be when you were on TV, you wanted to be in a movie. That's a fact. But believe it or not, y'all, being a TV star is more obtainable for everyday people. But being a movie star is what makes people like go to the movies. Because to be the TV star, like all you gotta do is turn your television on, right? But yeah, so that's a fact. So yeah, so a lot of these actors did start off in TV, except for probably Ice Cube. TV series, if you movie star, then you didn't make it. It's reversed. Yeah, at the end of the day, there's different ways to make it as an actor now, right? You got social media, you got short form content, long term content. But just all in all, just getting back to the original question, favorite rapper turned actor. 1 was Cool J. 2 was Will Smith. 3 was Queen Latifah. 4 was Ice Cube. All of them are legends in the game, both acting and in music. The chat went with Will Smith overwhelmingly. I'm gonna go with Will Smith. Originally, I said Ice Cube, but I took out the bad. I don't know why I took Bad Boys out. You gotta put Bad Boys in there. I have to go with Will Smith. The rest of the world at 43%. Mind y'all, over 149,000 people voted on this. Went with Will Smith. Will Smith. Again, I'm not mad at that because again, when I was thinking about Ice Cube, all the movies that I like, Ice Cube has a lot of movies that I like. And there's a lot of movies that he's not the star in, but he stole the movie, like the movie Trespass. He stole that movie. It was an excellent movie. There's another movie called Glass Shield. His character stole the movie in Glass Shield. Anaconda, he stole the movie. So there's a lot of movies that Ice Cube has done that I liked his role. Higher Learning is another one. So, I mean, damn, but Will Smith, obviously you have y'all said it in the chat. Y'all said, I just missed it. Men in Black. I'm not crazy about the Men in Blacks like that. I like 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is cool. 1 is a classic though. 1 is the ultimate classic. 2 is cool. Wild West. I don't know, man. That's one of those, like, it is a terrible movie now, but when it came out at the time, it was alright. When I watch it now, it's ass. But watching it back then, it was alright. Obviously, Independence Day is a can't miss. Hitch, to me, is a can't miss. And you think about those damn Bad Boy movies, can't miss. Concussion is a can't miss movie to me. Pursuit of Happiness, can't miss movie. I mean, yeah, Will Smith has had some fire movies. Gemini Man was cool. I know I'm missing a few. But yeah, and Made in America. Is it Made in America? It's Made in America with him, Whoopi Goldberg, Ted Danson, and the girl from Boys in the Hood. Oh my God, Little Thing. I can't think of her name right now. She go out with the coach, that's her baby father, the coach from Houston, M.A. Adoka. I can't think of her name right now. But she's in that movie as well. It's a star-studded movie. I think it's called Made in America. Made in America. Shout out to Paul. I personally like the one with him and his son Jaden Smith. After Earth or In Earth or something like that. I love the concept, but I'm cool on that. If that movie came on, that's a hard pass for me. Me personally. But again, everybody has their preference. You know what I mean? Like, some people don't like Hitch. I think Hitch is fire. So, all right. So everybody settled with Will Smith, myself, the chat, and the rest of the world. After Earth. Yes, After Earth. I said In Earth, After Earth. Yeah, After Earth. Yeah. Hitch was funny as a mofo. Now that's a fact. When he caught his joint cheating though, that's what had me rolling. When he caught the joint cheating, and she about to get her back cracked, like she in the middle of getting her back cracked, all in the rain, all outside in the whip, and he getting super wet. Know what I mean? Like, and he like, what did I do? Like, what's going on? And the dude was like, yo, bro, you doing it right now? Like, so funny movie. Definitely a funny movie. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Our Hollywood Need to Ask Us segment. I came up with this segment because I got better ideas for both movies or a movie series. So my Hollywood Need to Ask Us for tonight, I would love to see a movie, part 2 of Any Given Sunday. It's about time we got another football movie. What are we waiting for? We need another football movie. So I would love to see part 2 of Any Given Sunday. And this is how this movie would go, because I wrote half of the script. And I legitimately did, y'all. So the movie will basically take place now with the character Willie Beeman. Now he's in coaching. Now he's the head coach of the team that he ended up taking over. being one of the first players in history to be the franchise quarterback of a team and to be the head coach of that same team after his coach that was played by, oh my God, was played by, y'all know who I'm talking about. It was played by, y'all know what I'm talking about, Godfather. Um, Michael Corleone. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Was played by him. He retires, so now he takes over the team as the head coach. But now he's struggling in inducing them same type of values of being a football player, responsibility into today's football player, in his today's quarterback. So it's quite funny how it comes full circle when he was a quarterback and how the things that was gripping his reality, and now in today's society we got social media and how social media is skewing sports and how it has changed the landscape and him having to deal with that landscape as well. And then he also has to deal with an offensive coordinator, where he had an offensive coordinator that backed him up, the offensive coordinator Crozier. This new offensive coordinator doesn't back him up, just like his coach didn't get backed up by their offensive coordinator. And because we in tech, because we are more in like a analytics type of space in sports, where we use analytics to if we go on fourth down here, we're going to get it. So he's fighting between his offensive coordinator and in the new space of sports and where it's at. So that's basically my that's my why am I drawing a blank? That is basically my, because I didn't write the name down and stuff. That's basically my movie, or my part two for Any Given Sunday. Let me write this because I keep. So yeah, that's my part two for Any Given Sunday. Al Pacino, yes, I could. I don't. Y'all know how I am when I get on live. Sometimes I forget the names, but Al Pacino was an original. He was in the original Any Given Sunday, and Jamie Foxx is basically playing his role. So it switches to navigate these new players in the social media age, which is a headache. As y'all can see, if y'all follow college football, you got the transfer portal, you got the NFL, and how social media, how the players are dating, how they move about in the streets, how they tote guns when they don't need to tote guns. I mean, it's a whole different ball game navigating athletes in the social media space. So I think this movie will absolutely be fire. Obviously, the movie has to have great football, so it has to be rated R, has to be a genre sports movie. My foundational cast would be Jamie Foxx, Jonathan Majors. I'm going with John Voight, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Shia LaBeouf. I want Shia LaBeouf to play that offensive coordinator. Mikaela Beasley. Got to bring back LL Cool J. I would love LL Cool J to play a role, basically being in podcasting and calling out the inaccuracies that the coaches who are left behind, just like how his coach, played by Al Pacino, was left behind the times, and he's basically speaking out against that as well. I'm also going to add Jenny Ortega and Winston Duke to this foundational cast. Also, the director of this movie, I would want Antoine Fuqua. And of course, I already wrote half of it, and it's going to be super duper fire. So that is my part two to Any Given Sunday. And we need this movie like yesterday. When was the last time we had a really good football movie? It's been a while. So that is my Hollywood need to ask us for this episode. Give Terry Crews a chance in your movie. I ain't gonna lie. I would cast Terry Crews for this movie. For one, he used to play in the NFL. Two, he's not a small guy. And three, I would have his character more so mirror If y'all remember his character in the movie Draft Day, where he played the father of a play that was going to the lead, but his character was like very much more serious. It wasn't like goofy, you know what I mean? So if I was to cast Terry Crews in this movie, I wouldn't cast him as a player, but his role or his role would be much more serious, because of his stature and because that he has that side. Terry Crews can act. He can act. But I think most people, when they hear Terry Crews, they think of the goofy nature of Terry Crews as far as his acting, because he's always been asked to play comedic roles. So I would have him to play or give him direction to be very much more serious due to his role in this movie if I was to cast him in this movie. So that's my Hollywood Need to Ask Us. Again, Any Given Sunday, part 2. Shout out to Savage in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in. You look like King Von. That's a statement or a question? Because you put a question mark at the end of that. I don't. Trying to troll. It's not even good trolling, but appreciate you for tapping in. Hit them likes, hit them 100s. Unless you're just one of them people that think all ebony people look alike. You know. We got people out there like that, but it's cool. It's cool. Appreciate you tapping in. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know our must-see segment. I'm gonna give y'all some 3 fire must-see movies and obviously some Eddie Awards. What are Eddie Awards? Eddie Murphy is the standard of the movie industry. So just like there's Emmys, there's Grammys, there's Tonys, and such, I'm giving out Eddies. So my first Eddie goes to this must-see movie that came out in 1998. It was directed by Harold Beecher. This movie stars Bruce Willis, Mike Hughes, Alec Baldwin, Shy McBride, Kim Dickens, Kerry Preston, and Peter Stormare. This movie is called Mercury Rising. Again, I'm not going to ruin this movie for you, so make sure y'all tune and tap in to see this movie. It's a fire must-see movie. My second Eddie Award goes to this next must-see movie that came out in 1991. This movie is directed by John Sayles. This movie stars John Sayles. Oh God, John Sayles, Joe Morton, Vincent Spano, Angela Bassett, and Maggie Renzo, and Tony Lowe. I'm sorry, I missed Tony Lowe. And Tony Lowe. This movie is called City of Hope. I remember when this movie came out, I was a very little kid, and I was like, yo, that movie is hella gritty. And it's basically an ensemble cast or ensemble movie where it takes place in the city of New York, and there's a whole lot of things going on at one time that leads to one big story. And I won't ruin it for you, so make sure y'all tap in to see City of Hope. That movie is fire. I'm telling y'all. I remember I was a kid, and the stuff that was going on in the movie, it was super gritty, and it was a must-see movie. So it's amazing how time passes, and most people have never seen or even heard of that movie. Third and final must-see movie, and my third Eddie Award. This is not a movie. This is a series that you must see. Landman Season 2. Landman Season 2. Make sure y'all tap into it. Obviously, it's created by Taylor Sheridan. And this Season 2, it stars Billy Bob Thornton, Demi Moore, Ali Lauder, Jacob Laughlin, and Andy Garcia. It's a fire must-see show if y'all haven't already, about a man who deals in the oil industry, and you have to watch the rest of the show. First season, if you haven't seen first season, chef's kiss. Second season, oh my God, just next level. So make sure y'all tap in to see the TV series or series Landman. Shout out to the chat. As Savage, give him a minute. Do you like my next question? He said, do you like King? Oh, do I like King Von? Do you like? I thought you said you look like King Von. I apologize, Savage. My apologies. I apologize. I read that wrong. Do I like King Von? Musically, he doesn't have music that is a go-to for me. I've heard some music that I thought that he had was fire. Am I a fan? Not really. But again, I don't disrespect his memory to people that love him. And I'm not going to uphold his memory to people that had uh, a really negative passage with him. So I hope I answered that for you. But rest in peace to King Von. I can say that. He's still a young man. Or he was a young man. So I can't say that. Uh, yeah, I read that wrong. I thought you said I look like King Von. It's like, what? Because, again, I apologize for that, Savage. You'll be surprised with what people be sending me here. You'll be surprised. But, again, I apologize for reading that wrong. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Y'all know I'm gonna give y'all some fire must-hear music, whether it's new or old, whether it's hip-hop or R&B. I'm gonna give y'all some of that heat and some Michael Awards. Y'all know how I do. Again, just like how the Eddies, we got Grammys, we got Tonys. I give out Michael Awards. Michael Jackson is the standard of music. So my first Michael Award goes to the artist Neo. Put these 3 songs on your playlist. The first Michael Award goes to the song Can We Chill? Fire must-have song on your playlist. Second, Do You? Third, Because of You. So those are my 3 must-have songs on your playlist by Neo, and those are my 3 Michael Awards to those songs on to Neo. So make sure y'all put those 3 songs on your playlist. Again, Can We Chill? Do You? And Because of You. Make sure y'all put those 3 songs on your list. Again, hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. I'm cross-platforming on both TikTok and YouTube. Rowan Jack, yeah, Savage, you are, yeah, Savage. Are you blind? He is obviously Terry Crews. I feel like people forget how popping Neo is. Yo, Neo, I remember when Neo first came out, man. Neo, his music was like a game changer. I remember that. When Neo first came out, I was in college. And his music was like a game changer for real. Like, and he started writing for other people. Like, his pen game was crazy. But that first album, fire. That's, to me, the second album is art. I don't want to say it's bad, because there's some hard skips on that second album, and the songs are good. I'm just not crazy about some of those songs. So that's why I say that. I'm not saying those are hard skips because they're not good songs. I'm saying I'm cool. I'm cool off the song with him and with Jasmine, not Jasmine, Jennifer Hudson. I'm cool off that song. It's a decent song because Jennifer Hudson can sing. Neo can sing. Great song, but I'm cool. The vibe of the song matters, but that first album to me was just crazy. So yeah, people do forget how nice Neo is as an artist. He's still fire as an artist. He was amazing. Yup. When he first came out, since he married 50 wives, he kind of fell off. Nah, that don't make him fall off. I honestly, it's just the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you are a great artist and you make great music, time matters. Time absolutely matters. That's why people hold up R. Kelly and myself too, because throughout time, R. Kelly has always found a way to make great music for a long period of time. Neo, to me, he's had great music every album, but I don't think it was well received as those first few albums, in my opinion. I'll say those first 4 was crazy. Even the last 2 that he had was like technically, vocally better, and the writing was crazy, but it wasn't received the way how it was in the beginning too. So, but I think more so with Neo, labels had everything to do with it. Because when he was with Def Jam, it felt a little different. But when he got with Motown, it was like, this is good. This is good. This is cool. You know, but Motown gave him that bag. You know, he was, I believe, the president of Motown, and he was A&R. He was A&Ring some of the other artists on his label personally with their writing and the music. So I mean, Neo's a fire artist. Neo's a fire artist, just like Miguel was amazing when he first came out. I don't hear much about him either now. Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, I like Miguel when he first came out. He came out independent, and then the next album he had was decent, and I believe that one he was on. I forget what label he was on, but then that third album, that Kaleidoscope, that was like the game changer, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing about music. You're going to get some good music when you're going to get some good music in the pocket. It's not going to be like that forever. And that's why we got to champion artists who can give you great music for a long period of time. So, but shout out to Neo, man. Neo's a fire artist, man. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know I send them to turkey or nah. I send them to turkey or nah. Y'all know the rules of the game. Type in T to send them to turkey. Type in N not to. When people say do stupid things, we send them to turkey. So simple. Again, I'm cross-platforming on both platforms, TikTok and YouTube. First one of the night. NFL players are contacting their agents over the viral claims about the 49ers practice facilities. Since 2014, over 40 major hamstring issues have been reported amongst their training staff, amongst players because of the practice facilities. Calf tears, over 7 to 8 full Achilles tears, patella ruptures, and etc. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are we sending the NFL players to Turkey or not? Are we sending the NFL players to Turkey or not? Again, NFL players are contacting their agents over viral claims about the 49ers practice facilities since 2014. Over 40 major hamstring issues, calf tears, over 7 to 8 full Achilles tears, and patella ruptures, and etc. as far as due to their practice facilities with the 49ers. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Don't forget to hit them likes, hit them 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 12. Shout out to the chat as always. Me personally, I'm not going to send this to Turkey. I'm not going to send this to Turkey. There's no way. As an NFL team, if you have a glaring spot in your facilities where players are practicing, running, lifting, and they're doing it either on your surfaces or in the gym, and there's not even an occasional issue in the medical, this is happening on a regular basis. So now you have players, when you go to practice there, especially if you're on the team, you go to practice, you're having a real issue worrying about if the surface is good to run on, to run and plant. Is the medical team, and well, obviously you got to get cleared to be on the medical staff in the NFL, but is the medical team good if your key players, matter of fact, not just your key players, but all players are having medical issues in your facilities? So if I'm an NFL player, and let's say I'm a free agent, and the 49ers want me, I'm taking that in consideration in my decision whether I should go to the 49ers or not. Because if you look at all their great players, they've all suffered big injuries in recent history. The 49ers have been one of the most injured teams probably in the last 8 or 9 years on a very regular basis. So that has something also to do with treatment, because that's something you have to get out as a football player. After hitting, running, lifting, you have to go get treatment. What type of regimen is the 49ers doing that's having these negative effects on their players and people that's visiting, meaning visiting players. They have to use the facilities. They have to play on that surface. Guys are getting hurt on that surface. So, and this is just the practicing facilities. So I think this is a glaring concern, especially if you're a player. Me personally, I wouldn't want to go to the 49ers if I had a choice. If I had to go between the 49ers and Chicago, and y'all see how cold Chicago get, nobody want to play in Chicago with that damn weather. But I'm going to Chicago because I don't want to have to worry about practicing and y'all field is not up to code where I'm hurt because of the field. The way that I planted, the way that I jumped, the way I came down is not giving the way it needs to give as it would be somewhere else. I'd rather go play indoors. I'd rather go play for the Rams. I'd rather go play for the Falcons because their surface gives in a way where their players don't have many injuries because of the surface. Their players don't have many injuries because their medical staff is giving them the right information as far as how to treat their body. So me personally, I'm not going to send the players to Turkey on this. I can't because they're looking out in their better interest. And let's keep it real. The longer you play in the NFL, the more money you're going to be able to make. The more you're going to be available. And the best ability for the NFL is availability. So, I mean, look at the playoffs right now. I mean, we've had some serious major injuries that shifted a lot of these games. So, I mean, I can't send the players to Turkey regarding that, me personally. Shout out to the chat. I'm seeing the chat saying no as well. So I can't send the chat. I can't send the chat. I can't send the players to Turkey. I'm agreeing with the chat as well. All right, y'all, moving on to our next send them to Turkey or nah. Send them to Turkey or nah. Gen Z, they saying Gen Z is hurting the tourism of Vegas. Clubs is emptier, casino floors is quieter, and it's not the recession. Let me know in the chat, are we sending Gen Zers for not supporting Vegas? Are we sending them to Turkey or not? Are we sending them to Turkey or not? Again, Gen Zers is not going to Vegas and participating in the tourism in Vegas. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are we sending them to Turkey or not? Me personally, when I think about this, when I was a teenager, there was a certain allure that I would hear about Vegas. So when I got of age, one of my destinations was to go to Vegas. And I'm not going to lie to y'all. Before COVID, Vegas, I mean, the type of fun you could have in Vegas was on a whole nother level. Vegas was just different before COVID. Post-COVID, I've been to Vegas twice, and it ain't hit the same. So I don't know if it's the experience post-COVID that's making people like, yeah, somebody just went there. They wasn't jacking it. They said that I wasn't jacking because they know my personality. Then maybe I shouldn't go. But I mean, Vegas just don't have the allure, and they saying it's not due to, the fact that people are, struggling financially for the most part due to the unspoken recession. They saying basically again that the clubs is emptier and the casinos is much quieter, and I can attest to that because the last time I went to Vegas, it didn't feel the same. The last 2 times I went to Vegas, it didn't feel the same. It just doesn't. I'd rather go to New Orleans. Much better time in New Orleans for me personally. So, again, I think it has to do with the experiences. And then also Vegas they got a lot of hidden fees in them damn vacations. They would charge you let's say you get a room for $89.99 a month. $89.99 a night, right? And it's for 4 nights. They would charge you that, and then at the end of your stay, they'll charge you an extra $150 because that's the hotel fee, and because you had used to the whole hotel. Like what? Like you said, $89.99 was the whole thing per night, and all these hidden fees. So I mean that could be due to that as well. So I can't send them to Turkey regarding that either. Shout out to Rowan Jack. Just take their phone away. Uh, Ebony, honestly, Vegas is overrated. I'm in Vegas right now. Fremont Street, out of my window now. Shout out to Biggs in the building. Appreciate my dog Biggs for tuning and tapping in. Big badge holder. That's how I like to see that, Biggs. Big badge holder, man. Um, yeah, we got my dog Rowan Jack in Vegas right now. Like I said, for me, before COVID, yo, Vegas was popping. Post, it's cool, and I probably would have liked it more if I wasn't in Vegas before COVID, and I went quite a few times to Vegas before COVID. I went at least like 3 times, 3 or 4 times. So I mean, it's just different. It's definitely a different vibe. It doesn't have that same allure, you know. So I will say that I will be your field reporter live from the Strip. The Strip is an interesting place, though. The Strip is an interesting place. The Strip is always going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But I also in Vegas too. You just have to know where to go. If you know where to go to have a good time, you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna have a good time. Like again, I've always had a good time in Vegas. It just don't hit the same like how it did before COVID. That's just me personally. That's just me personally. Again, shout out to both platforms. I'm cross-platforming on both TikTok and YouTube. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next one. Y'all already know what time it is. It's time to rap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, in the word snaps.com. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, in the word snaps.com. First hot topic of the night. Question. Does personality sells music more than talent? Does personality sells music more than talent? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, the question is, does personality sells more music than talent? Does personality sells more music than talent? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. I'm gonna give y'all a second to answer that. So, me personally, this is a hell yeah. This is a hell yeah. If you're an artist, there's an art to getting exposure. There's an art to making people and drawing people into you just to go see the car crash that could be a person's music. Because the end goal is not the music. The end goal is the attention. The music is the cherry on top. So with that question alone, even as an artist myself, I believe that having the ability to get attention is a talent all by itself. Personality, in my opinion, sells more music than talent because there's people who are uberly talented and they don't get the attention that their talent warrants only because they're not in the business on selling their personality. They want to sell their music. They want to show you this art. And some people just can't get in the business in having a podcast and having content. They don't want no parts of that. They just want to do their music and give their music to the people and well content with that. So in my opinion, I agree with that question. Yes. Again, the question was, if you're just tuning and tapping in, does personality sells more music than talent? And I'm saying yes. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Ebony, Conda Sorta, I personally like talented artists, the artists that can actually rap and sing. Shout out to Paul. Uh, when it comes to rap, yes. Other music, no, my opinion. Okay. Shout out to Rowan Jack. If parents are the ones funding, personality will win. We looking for role models out here. I like that answer too. I like that answer too, because that's very real, especially when you have younger kids. When you have younger kids, you're going to vet what they're listening to, right? And if they like, what is this? Like, you know what I'm saying? You literally become the parent that go, what is this? You know what I'm saying? So I like that. Uh, Biggs, he said yes, yes. And again, the artists that are into the attention, because the attention is not the same as music. The attention is the real currency, because now you're gonna walk away and be like, hey man, have you heard of this artist that is wearing a wedding dress in their music video? Have you heard of this artist that's wearing a diaper? Have you heard this artist that in his music video he's sucking off a AR-14? Have you heard of this artist that she has a video where she's fully butt naked and her body is blurred? That's the attention part of the artistry, right? The music in itself is the cherry on top. If it's good, people will stay. If it's trash, it don't matter, because the attention was the whole goal in the first place. And they still done made some money just from you hitting that click. So I believe myself that personality sells more music than talent, for sure. For sure. And like how I highlighted before, there's a lot of artists out there who has, I won't say a lot, but there's a fair amount of great artists out there with OD amount of talent that could really rap, that could really sing. Some could do both. And they're not into the attention game. They're not into the podcast, and they're not into to the content. They just want to make their music and go about their day. And there's a lot of people who are famous as artists that don't have great music. Now, there's some artists who are famous because they are part of an establishment, which highlights their music, and they don't have to show content. They don't have to podcast. They don't have to show their personality. They let their label or their entity basically do that part for them, and they can just release music. But we live in a world today where it's no more either or. There's no more of that. You have to do a little bit of everything. So you'll find a lot of great artists out here that's into the content and also make a lot of great music, because that's a part of the formula today. There's the gatekeepers is not where it used to be, how it was back before. So now all artists have to partake in some sort of content, in some sort of podcasting, to highlight their talent. For sure. For sure. Shout out to Rowan Jack. I do the 6'7" brain rot. My kids don't think it's cool. Yeah, I mean, you know, it was very interesting that you had mentioned that, Roman Jack. Uh, I had an artist a couple years back, and they still my artist. I had one of my artists a couple years back was very young at the time, and the type of music he was making was still fire music, but it wasn't MF, it wasn't curse. It was age appropriate for him. It was a little edgy for his age, but it was still age appropriate for him. Didn't want him to make grown music before his time. Now, somebody that supports my label, that listens to every artist that I ever bring out, this particular person said to me, bro, I have a 10-year-old son, and I allowed my 10-year-old son to listen to your artist who was then a teenager. Bro, we need more artists like your artist. He's fire and he's age appropriate. He's not on record, saying and doing all the grown stuff, you know what I'm saying, before his time. So I get exactly what you mean by that when you say that, Rowan Jack, because I agree with that. We still need age appropriate music out here for all ages. Like, honestly, when's the last time we had an artist that basically made their music for kids? And not necessarily make their music for kids, but it's kid friendly, if that makes sense. Like, you don't mind your children listening to this music, whether it's thought provoking, as long as it's not too provocative, overly sexy, you know, and something kind of fun. We haven't had an artist like that in a long time. So there's a segment of the music business that's completely washed at this point in time because everybody wants to be grown before their time. So there's something to be said about that, regarding that, Rowan Jack. So I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly, for sure, for sure. But definitely, personality sells more music than talent, especially in today's music. Especially in today's music, you have to have a little personality to sell your music. People have to know who you are. You just can't come out of nowhere and be like, "Hey, I got some music over here. I'm fire. I'm one of the best rappers you ever heard in your life." Can't do that no more. You have to build some sort of content so that people will already know who you are and they could track you easier. So I definitely agree with that. All right, y'all, moving on to our next popular opinion. I said popular. Moving on to our next hot topic. Question. Question. Is Hollywood trying to get rid of streaming and podcasting? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, is Hollywood trying to get rid of streaming and podcasting? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. I've heard another influencer say this in particular. There's a plan in place to get rid of podcasting and streaming. First comes infiltration, then influence, then elimination. I can't think of the person's name, and when I find their name, I'm going to give them the credit for breaking this. But is Hollywood trying to get rid of streaming and podcasting due to that equation that I just set out? As you can see, some of our top streamers, in particular, Kai Cenat is choosing not to stream, not quite like how he used to. He's pivoting in his energy into fashion, which I love, might I add, mainly because he's broadening his horizons, and he's finding out different passions that he wants to do. Beautiful. The problem is, he is probably one of the 3 biggest streamers in the world. One of 3 at this point in time, regardless of who you ask or regardless of who you like. But you see, towards the ending of his streaming, he had a lot of Hollywood people around him. So a lot of people was trying to equivalate that into basically understanding the infiltration, the influence, and the elimination portion of it. So they saying check. They say so basically their plan is already in motion. So me being a podcaster, well, I'm an artist and I happen to podcast because I have a passion for podcasting. So, but either way, streaming is something that's going to be here for a little while. It's going to be here for a little while. Podcasting, it's going to be here for a little while. It's going to be here for a while. Now, the scope of podcasting and streaming may change in the next 5 years based on what the hybrid is or the hybrid would be. Because 5 years ago, podcasting was basically, now it became a name. Streaming now became a name. That's an actual thing, but they're hybrids off of other things. So now I just think it will be a hybrid. It's always going to be a hybrid to podcasting and streaming in itself. But there's something to be said about this though. If they take majority of what they will call the highest viewed podcast, the highest viewed streaming platforms, they do turn it into network. You look at the guy Joe Rogan. They did it with Pat McAfee. I mean, these guys was doing super numbers. Mr. Beast was doing super numbers at one particular point in time. So you're seeing these guys making pivots to join network and basically eliminating their pod or their streaming. So there is something to be said. There's smoke. Where there's smoke, there's fire. There's definitely smoke. But it's still going to take some time. It's still going to take some time. TikTok in itself is another, I won't call it a hybrid, but it's a place where people, again, through our social medias, it's a place where it connects. Because through everybody's social medias, if you realize all social medias have something of other social medias that does well. So for example, TikTok does well with showing videos. Now you could go on every social media platform and you could plug in any type of video on your platform. X or Twitter, they take it to the point where you can have pornography on there. Instagram, they have it in a way where their reels is like next level. But now with YouTube Reels is like next level. So it's like they all competing for that same spot. And it's all, again, not hybrids, but it's a portion of podcasting and streaming. So I don't think it's necessarily going somewhere right this second. But they trying. They definitely trying. And I would not be surprised in 15 years that it could be a foregone conclusion. It looks like it. So Biggs, you saying it looks like it. Okay. Like I said, there's something to be said about that. And I'm not mad at that at all. But at the end of the day, there's always going to be a hybrid to it. So if it stops in the next 8 to 10 years, there's going to be a hybrid to something else that's going to be beneficial for the people. So that's what I have to say about that. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. College football. D1. This is strictly for D1, known as FBF schools. I'm still a D1 AA kind of guy, so I'm still call it, I'm old school regarding that. But as of right now, D1 players, over 3,800 players right now is stuck in the transfer portal. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. In D1, the top spot, kid, over 3,800 players is still stuck in the transfer portal. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. There's actually, in all college football, D1, D1 AA, D2, D3, there's over 9,000 kids in the transfer portal right now. And there's no one thing on why all these kids is in the transfer portal. There's not all one thing. On one aspect, a lot of these players are being asked to leave. Hey, bro, get in the portal. You need to hit that portal. They're being asked by their coaches to hit that portal. So that's one aspect of it. Second aspect of it, they're also being asked to hit that portal due to their agent. Yes, college football players have agents now. And their agents are asking them to get in the portal. And they're asking them to get in the portal because they like, hey, we got a bag for you over yonder over here at this school over here. So that's another aspect on why kids are being asked to join in the portal. Another thing is scheme fit, school fit. It's just not the energy of the school, the community. It's just not given. So players going to hit the portal. I'm a city kid. I'm used to the city type of energy. I don't need to be in this backwood water town It's not it, so they're going to hit the portal. So lifestyle is also a thing as well. So you have all these kids joining the portal, whether they're asked voluntarily or involuntarily, or they're being told by their agent because, hey, I can get you some money at this school opposed to this school over here. It's hurting the sport, and it's hurting the fan base because kids are getting in the portal, whether it's voluntarily or voluntarily, without a plan. You still need a plan. For example, if you're a D1 AA football player, and what that means, if you play for a school like North Dakota State, South Dakota State, and if y'all know North Dakota State and South Dakota State, those are high-ranking D1 AA football programs. You can literally transfer to another school in D1 AA that's lower tier, and they will take you because you went to South Dakota State and North Dakota State. But let's say no other team wants you and you're being asked to join the portal. You have to come up with a plan to go another level lower. Hey, I could go D2, and you'll find you a D2 school. And that's just how it works, because there's nothing that looks more credible than a kid coming from a bigger program for a coach and the program. So what that means is, if you're North Dakota State, and you have a kid from Wisconsin, the University of Wisconsin, they have a player that's leaving, the Big Ten, and you say, okay, I can get a kid from Northwestern. You're gonna bring him in. He went to Northwestern. He went to Wisconsin. So there's no way I'm not gonna take this kid from Wisconsin to play with North Dakota State or South Dakota State. And that's how that goes. If you go a level lower, you're gonna be taken damn near automatically unless you have real off the field issues. So a lot of these kids need to develop game plans year in, year out, especially if you didn't have the year you thought you was going to have. So that's something to be said about that as well. Shout out to Malu in the building, one of our day ones, one of our big badge holders, one of our mods in the building. Thank you for tuning and tapping in. Malu in that building, in this building, you already know. A shout out to both TikTok and YouTube, cross-platform, and y'all already know how to do it. And if you're on my TikTok and want to be on my YouTube, it's at Ashley Lovechild. And if you at my YouTube and want to be on TikTok, it's at Ashley Lovechild Mojo. So yeah, so to them players that's stuck in the portal, man, get you a plan. And the plan is to always go to the lower tier school in that conference, or the lower tier school, it always should be the lower tier school in that conference, or a higher tier school in a lesser conference. And if you can't find the school on that level, then you just go down to the next level. And in college football, like I said, there's D1, then there's D1 AA, then there's D2, and then there's D3, and then you also got JUCO. And if you're too old to play JUCO, damn, come on, bro, D3, like no D3 school gonna take you, bro. Like that's kind of crazy. I've never heard in the history of football, I've never heard a player go D1 all the way down to D3, and the school don't want to take them. So y'all need those plans, because it's hurting college football. It really is. It really is. And a lot of players that's being asked to leave the school because they could get the bag somewhere else, they're not getting the chance to be developed. Yeah, you go from school to school, you say to yourself, okay, I went from North Dakota State to Texas A&M, so I'm going to get developed. I'm going to get better. Okay, you go to Texas A&M for the year, and you get developed more, but that don't mean you're going to get full development because you have people ahead of you. Schools like Texas A&M, Texas, Michigan, Ohio State, you're going to get developed somewhat, but they not putting the all into you. You a new cat. You a new dude around here, and we're glad to have you, but it's the chain of command around here. And it also depends if that kid is super duper talented. So at the end of the day, if you leave before it's your next, then you don't get fully developed. If you ever play football, you know what I'm talking about. You have to be at a school for a certain amount of years for you to get fully developed into their program and to get the full development into your school. It is what it is. It's like going to the job, right? You go to your job. If you there for a month, you're not going to understand all the interactions that it is to going on around here. But if you stick around, you get full development. You understand how everything works. Just that simple. So yeah. So those are to them 3,800 kids in D1 in the D1 program, or D1 I should say, that's stuck in the transfer portal right now. And the transfer portal just closed on Friday. So, all right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Jay-Z, rapper Jay-Z was awarded $120,000 in paternity case, y'all, against Ramir Saltwake and Godmother. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, Jay-Z was awarded $120,000 in the paternity case against Ramir Saltwake and his godmother. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. I don't know why I don't have the godmother's name, but I don't know if y'all really followed the story of Jay-Z and this young man who happens to look awfully, they have resemblance. They have strong resemblance of each other. And there's been this kid who's been trying to prove the paternity, that Jay-Z is his father, that and this is what the young man has said. He said, I really don't want nothing for real. I'm a grown man. I could do for myself, but I just want this to show that you're my dad. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to know who I am, and yada, yada, yada. So his godmother is said to be known that Jay-Z had some sort of relations with Ramir's mother. It's obviously not the godmother, but Ramir's mother. So they've been taking Jay-Z to court, and they ended up losing. They lost, and it resulted in Jay-Z being awarded $120,000. And I'm guessing this is for his lawyer fees regarding this particular case. And yeah, so that's how that ended. So they haven't said publicly what the paternity was, but one would surmise that, I mean, if he was his dad, Jay-Z would be paying some money. I'm just saying, like, that's what I would think. If he was the father, he would be paying the money. But being that he's not the dad, he's paying some money. Meaning the young man that took him to court, him and his godmother, both on the hook for $120,000. So, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy act from JC. Ash. Okay, well that's an expensive loss. That's a fact. That's a fact. $120,000 to someone like Jay-Z financially is probably a drop in a bucket. I would guess and bet that this young man and his godmother, that $120,000 would change the scope of their year. I would bet that. Not saying that he's rich, broke, or poor. I'm just saying that I think $120,000 would affect him financially way more than it would Jay-Z. For sure. So this is definitely a very expensive loss. Very expensive loss. But can you imagine being a grown man and being told that someone is your dad for years and years, and you get to a point where you could do a paternity test, and again, only one could surmise that he's not his dad, mainly because he has to pay this man $120,000. So I mean, That's a lot to deal with mentally, more than anything. I know when people hear the 120,000, you hear the financial aspect of it first and foremost. But there's a mental component there in a very human way of not knowing where you come from. It's very scary. I mean, look at the pictures I got behind me, y'all. That's a picture of my brother. On in this camera, y'all can see the picture of my parents. So I know where I come from, right? So it matters in order to go somewhere, you have to know where you come from. That matters. Knowing your lineage matters. So I mean, I really feel bad for this young man regarding that. It's just unfortunate that there's nobody really around him to give him a real navigational system on who his dad is. That's the real sad part. Not being led by emotions, being led by logic, understanding that there's a thing called logic and there's a thing called just straight biology. And within the logic and the biology is where the truth lies. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I kind of feel bad for the young man, him not knowing who his dad is. But I mean, him and Jay-Z do some strikes, some strong resemble, some strong, uh, some strong. I can't think of the word right now, but just they resemble a lot, I should say, and it's very strong. But that's still 120,000. Like, if he would have won, he wouldn't have coughed up 100. He wouldn't have to cough up 120,000. Shout out to Malo, DNA don't lie. That's a fact. That's a fact. Absolutely sad for that young man. And also that needs to be said too. Also that needs to be said. Now, obviously, Jay-Z has some sort of relations with his mother. Obviously. Now, when women are very promiscuous, not dissing anybody in particular, but when women in general, if you are promiscuous and you're letting men skeet all up in you, and you happen not to get pregnant, years later, when you do get pregnant, you can definitely have multiple DNAs in your system. Y'all can look it up. So that's why a woman can have a child, get pregnant, and Tony is the father of this child, for sure. But why that baby look like Ricky? You used to date Ricky. That baby looked like Ricky. He got a lot of Ricky in him. You remember Ricky? Ricky with the nice hair. You see the chinky eyes. That looked like Ricky, baby. Nah, I tested Ricky. Ricky wasn't the dad. He was not the father. And I didn't deal with last time I dealt with Ricky. Matter of fact, I didn't have to test Ricky because I dealt with Ricky 6 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that worked. And I'm saying all this as examples, obviously, right? So that's how it could also work too, where you look at a child and be like, damn, that child got some strong resemblance to that man. And he's not the father? I don't know. So women, when you're promiscuous and you let dudes, not random dudes, but you let multiple men skeet all up in you and you don't get pregnant at the time, doesn't mean later on when you do get pregnant that there's still not, that batter still laying up in you somewhere, or deep in your guts. So that could be surmised to this particular case as well too, because we've seen it before. Absolutely sad for that young man. Goddamn Ricky with the nice hair. Bro, Jack, you stupid. If they decided to have a baby just cause it should be obligated to take a DNA test. That's a fact. I still don't understand why it's not a mandatory thing to do DNA testing when you're having children. I don't understand how that's still not a thing. People don't want to be like, rude and like, oh, it's not about being nice. It's about being factual. Why is that not a real thing where it's like yo, it's mandatory. It's mandatory, yo. Even if you're married, it's mandatory. It's mandatory. Yeah, this is a formality. We know your dad. We know your dad. And you go take the test and come to find out that it's Ricky's baby. You're going to be glad you got the DNA testing. I'm just saying. So it should be mandatory DNA testing. I'm surprised that I haven't heard President Donald Trump speak on it or any of these local politicians speak on it, because that should be a thing. And real talk, all it's going to take is one. All it's going to take is one. If DeSantis come out and say, yo, in Florida, from here on out, is mandatory DNA testing, baby. When the baby is born, yo, pop getting tested, child getting tested. Whether you married or not, this is a formality and you have to do it. Nah, I ain't going to do it. All right, so y'all don't get to take the baby home. Y'all can't take the baby home until we get the test done. You see how quick they take that. You see how quick they take that test, because people want to take their baby home. They'll get that done right then and there. Right? And honestly, what father wouldn't do it? What husband wouldn't do it? And you're not doing it because you think your wife is cheating on you or whatever the case may be. It's a formality and you're getting it done. But what would happen? Hey, we need to speak to you outside. It's some things you need to know, bruh. It looked like Ricky Baby because it is Ricky Baby. I'm just saying. So that's why probably that was what it was with that young man. Because again, when women let multiple dudes skeet, raw dog, that batter could lay in there for years. I remember somebody tried to put a baby on me one time, and they were like, Ash, that baby look like you. Whoa, 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 whoa. 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 I haven't dealt with that person in 4 years. You know, good try. You know what I'm saying? The baby looked so much like me. I started thinking like, yo, was it 4 years? Like, did we have like a? I had to like think about it because it looked like me. But DNA testing. I'm not the pappy. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to take the test. The father took the test, and he was the pappy. So, you know what I mean? Just saying. You let multiple men skeet up in you. And ladies, just because I'm saying it doesn't make it less true. Why do you think we have shows like Maury? Like, I never understood why we even had shows like Maury, even though I love Maury, might I add. But anytime a woman had more than 2 guys that she couldn't decipher, that was the child's father, come on, that's crazy. That's crazy. If you got more than 2, what are you doing out here? You really putting your life at risk out here. You got more than 2 to just let skeet all up in you raw. That's what we doing. And there was women on there with like 6 and 8. It was like, yo, and I couldn't imagine being one of those guys thinking like I'm the only one that's seen you, or at least the only one that's skeeting in you raw. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we just got that thing where we, you know what I mean? It's a little light, but whoever you deal with, you gonna wrap it up, right? Nope. Y'all just all sitting there. So you really take account, like, yo, it's 4 of us? Damn, so when we was all humping, we was all in here raw. That's how you get that, where the baby don't look like who it's supposed to look like. Shout out to Malu, absolutely you should. Rowan Jack Ash has single-handed made condoms great again. Try to tell you, man, like, yo, get you a condom, bro. Get you a condom. Ain't no better sex in the world like safe sex. And the reason why I say there's no better sex than safe sex, because you can walk away with your head held up high. You know what I'm saying? You feel good about yourself. You know what I'm saying? You just know you had a good time. You know what I'm saying? No diseases, no babies, unwanted babies, I should say. You know what I mean? Get you a condom, y'all. Get you a condom. Shout out to Malu, that's nasty. Shout out to uh, Foquan, Gilly the Kid. Okay. Yeah, get you a condom. That's how you get butt babies. You stupid. You stupid, Rowan Jack. You stupid. At the end of the day, I just like, and then fellas, you gotta better do a job gauging the type of woman that you dealing with. You gotta do a better job in that. If you going to hit raw, have the type of relationship where that's your personal, you know what I'm saying? That's your personal piece. She may not be like your wife, but she your personal. That's your lady, yo. That's your lady. She not opening them legs for nobody else but you. Make sure you know that before you get in them cakes raw dogging it. For real. Because there's a whole lot of babies out here. I remember I had an old friend where he was having a baby. It was like, yo, I didn't know you were seeing anybody, and we was all younger. He was like, I'm not. It was just like, you know what I'm saying, one of them chill nights. I'm like, so damn, you turned a chill night into a child. So what did you tell the baby? He was like, yeah, me and your moms was Netflix and chilling, and now you here. You know what I'm saying? And the baby shower was funny because it was like everybody knew that they wasn't together, and it was just like, they just rocked out. So think about them kids, man. Think about them kids. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Question, NBA question. Would you want Ja Morant on your team? NBA question. Would you want Ja Morant on your team? Let me know about that in the chat. Again, hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. Again, we're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 12,000 subscribers. So continue to like, subscribe, share, hit that all notification bell. I am cross-platforming on both platforms, both TikTok and YouTube. And for those who are on my TikTok, you want to get on my YouTube, is at Ashley Lovechild on YouTube. And those on my YouTube that want to get on the TikTok is at Ashley Lovechild Mojo on TikTok. So make sure y'all tap it too. But again, the question is, would you want Ja Morant on your team? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, if I'm an owner, it really depends on my franchise. So if I'm an owner, me personally, I'm the type of franchise that's about winning championships. Now, Ja Morant, his game in particular, he has the ability, if we're just talking about game and basketball, he has the ability to be a championship caliber player due to his measurables, the things that he's able to do on the basketball court. For sure. Talently is for sure. Athletic. He is a commander on the court. He's not necessarily a great shooter, but he could get to the rim at a very high clip. And what do that do? You get to the rim at a high clip. Now he's able to distribute the ball at a high clip. You have the defense clamping on him, so he's able to pass out to open teammates that have wide open shots. Not a great defender. And it's mainly because he really doesn't try to play defense. I've seen Ja Morant play maybe 3 times in the game. Each time he, basically came to Orlando, and he's not interested in playing defense. But based on my team and my rest of my team, I can win with Ja Morant if his mindset is on winning championships. If I'm a franchise that's about selling jerseys, then for sure, it's not even a conversation. Bring him in here. We need to sell some jerseys. It's a big market. It's a small market. We're going to sell some jerseys. If I'm a teammate, I have to look at this twofold, because just a couple years ago, Ja Morant was on the cusp on becoming the face of the NBA. Let that sink in for a second. He was on the cusp of doing that. Now, it's completely changed. And is mainly due to the activities that people have seen him done on social media. And because of that, mixed injury in there, mixed perception in there, and then you have a situation with one of his teammates recently where they was looking to squabble up. And if you have an issue with one teammate, there's a big possibility you're going to have an issue with several teammates. So the fact that he's not even wanted at a place where he was looked at as the leader at one point speaks volumes. But I also take account before that, a couple years back, he was looked at as the de facto leader, and he was looked at as maybe being the face of the NBA. So with that being said, if I'm me and being a person, well, if I'm me being the person that I am, and the owner I would be, I wouldn't want him on my team. Mainly because we live in the present. And what it does for the present. Presently, when I watch him play basketball, even though he has the talent and the tools to play championship-based basketball, he doesn't. Now, I said this from the very beginning. I thought he should have ended up with a team like the Rockets or a team like the Suns, and only because when I said he should have played for the Suns, Kevin Durant was there. When he got to the Rockets, Kevin Durant was there. I always thought that Kevin Durant should have played with the Grizzlies. But now I understand why he didn't choose the Grizzlies, because of what's going on internally with the Grizzlies. But Ja Morant playing with another talent like KD, mainly because what KD does well and what Ja Morant does well, that would be a perfect marriage in the game, how they play the game, right? So if I'm a team looking for a superstar, looking for a great player, looking for a championship piece, for me, Ja Morant is not that right now. And I would not trade for him. And being that I know that the Memphis Grizzlies want to trade him, I'm getting pennies on the dollar. I know y'all want to trade him. So I need this, and that to complete this trade. Because I know y'all ready to get rid of him. And the player that I'm going to offer y'all is going to help your team immediately. And he's going to have a better effect in the locker room right now. So if I'm a team, and my team is going to be championship, we looking to play for championships, I wouldn't want him on my team. Great player. Great player. He has some traits that you can win with. Have I seen it lately? And this is no disrespect for him. I've seen him play 3 times. He's box office. He's must-see TV. But being a great entertainer in basketball is not the same as being a championship piece. LaMelo Ball, great player. He's somebody I would pay money to see play. He's going to be entertaining. But he doesn't play championship-style basketball. Simple and plain. So that's how I changed that up. Well, I won't say change that up, but that's how I look at that situation all in itself. Shout out to Ebony, big badge holder. He's a good player, but I understand there's more to it. That's a fact. I like that. There is more to it. It's more to sports than what happens just on the court, especially for basketball. Especially for basketball. Because you only have 12 to 15 guys on the team, and you are really out there together. And basketball is a one-on-one type of sport. It's a freestyle type of sport where you can go from team concept to one-on-one, but you still have to remain in the team dynamic. And if your teammates don't like you, if you're playing for self, you won't win championships if championships is your main goal. But like I say all the time, in the NBA, every franchise is not looking to win championships. Just look at the moves that they make. Anytime you see a franchise make idiotic moves, they're not a championship-based franchise, and they don't want to be. Just look at the moves. So, that's my thing regarding that. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Former NFL running back, former NFL running back, also guest commentator on the Is What It Is podcast, Maurice Clarett, comes under fire by calling Memphis, we just spoke about Memphis, a nigga town. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, former NFL running back and guest commentator on the Is What It Is podcast, Maurice Clarett, comes under fire for calling Memphis a nigga town. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. And don't forget to hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. Me personally, context is everything. And when he said it, I understood exactly what he meant. When he said it on the show, they laughed about it because they understood exactly what that meant. Now, what that means is this, for those to land this, right? What that means is when he was saying that Memphis is a nigga town regarding sports, and he's saying it based on a player. So if a player comes from a small town and he gets exposed to a place like Memphis, Houston, Atlanta, in some aspects New York, where there's a portion of those cities and those towns that glamorize bad stereotypes, and then you also have great, I want to call a stereotype great, but do you also have greatness in those cities as well? But they glamorize the negative. And those are places where we have a lot of us, a lot of ebony people, a lot of cultured people. And because we have a lot of cultured people in those areas, they view those areas as ghetto, even though there's a lot of beauty in these cities. I've been to Houston before. I've been to Atlanta before. Obviously, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I've never been to Memphis. But it's considered one of those places where you have both of them the same. Where you have greatness, people that work hard, people that keep their head down, people that's about their education, people about going from one level to life to another level of life because you're coming from struggle. And then you also have people that when they come from struggle, they either glamorize the negative stereotype or they turn themselves into something completely positive. But on the outside looking in, people mainly see the negative stereotype. So when Maurice Clarett called Memphis a nigga town, that's a conversation for ebony people by ebony people. And some people really took offense to it because you just don't have ebony people listening to it. Everybody hears that, and it carries a negative understanding regarding Memphis. But again, that's somebody from a small town. If you bring somebody from a small town to New York City is one of those places where it's international. But there's a portion of New York City where it's extremely ghetto. But there's a portion of New York City where the underlying theme of New York City is about the city that never dies, where opportunity is always being available. You could change who you are, what you are in the instant. Memphis, even though I've never been there, but based on what it embodies and based on what I've seen people that I know that come from Memphis, who are hardworking people that took themselves from one level and took it to the next, they either chose to embody the negative stereotype or become something completely different that is positive. All positive. So I don't think what Maurice Claret was saying, in a sense where he was like saying that, you know, it's super ghetto there or whatever the case may be. We have places in America where we have ebony people where it's such a thing called ghetto fabulous. Atlanta is definitely one of them. Can we say that? Mississippi, is certain parts of Mississippi is definitely ghetto fabulous. There's certain parts of New York, ghetto fabulous. Houston, ghetto fabulous. And it's not necessarily anything wrong with that, especially when there's positive being done in the community. So even though he's came under fire from it, we all know what he meant regarding the small town kid, on basically that small town kids should go to other small towns as opposed to going to big cities if their personality is not ready for it. Because then you also have some small town kids that will go to big cities and lose their mind. They will get caught up in the sauce because there's too much going on. It's too much money. It's too much women. It's too much drugs. It's too much new people. You get caught up real quick if your personality won't allow you to dictate a big city opposed to going to another small city. A shout out to Clifford in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in. Hit them likes. Hit the 100. You already know the vibes. It helps with the growth of the show. I think I missed that. Shout out to Malu. Hey, Clifford, welcome back to another live. Don't forget New Jersey. New Jersey is another one. New Jersey is another one. So wherever we have a strong population of ebony people, you're going to have some elements of ghetto. It is what it is. But in some cities, you not just have the ghetto or the ghetto mentality, you also have ghetto fabulous. There's people that still kind of ghetto, but they got them some money. And instead of buying a house, they buy cars and chains. They spend big in a club. But then you also have another side of that with people that invest in things that gain in value, which can be a house, which can be art. So we know what he meant by that. We know what he meant by that. So is he wrong for saying it? No. Like, when are we wrong for speaking straight to the community by the community? It may not be polite. When people say negative things about New York City, you don't hear that person go under fire, or somebody going through under fire. When you hear negative things being said about Atlanta, how Atlanta is full of scammers and this, that, and the third, you don't hear people from Atlanta like, yeah, nah, that's not what we are. They don't have to. Because you do have scammers in Atlanta, for sure. But then you also have another side of that who is ghetto fabulous. And then you have another portion of that that's just successful. So it's just not one thing. So we can't allow that backlash to be the one thing about Memphis that is not. Memphis is not just one thing. So, I'm siding with Maurice Claret on this. I don't think he should have got the backlash that he's receiving regarding that. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Question. Why has parenting become a score contest? That's my question. Why has parenting become a score contest? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, why has parenting become a score contest? Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. As I sip my water. I asked this question due to many levels. I posted a video not too long ago regarding love and hip hop artist Amina Butterfly, and she had made a video that basically said that um, she would rather be with her kids opposed to working, and um, the money that she make on her job, it didn't make sense that she would have to give, half her money to the babysitter or all of the money to the babysitter based on the money that she earned based on her job. And whether you're against or for her comment, I was definitely against it, because that's like saying, you know, uh, I don't feel like it's right that I should have to pay for gas when I voluntarily bought a car and I knew what comes with buying a car. Just like children, you knew what comes with buying children. You knew what comes with having children voluntarily. But that's not where this is going. So in the comments, everybody kept asking, where's the child's father? Or where's the children's father? And it made me wonder, because then they started listing all the things that the father do for her. So it made me wonder, where did we get to a point in society where we score keep for children? Because it's not just them. We have it in society where you see most people that are not together and they share a child. They do the, well, I got him this and I got him that. What did you do for him or do for her? As long as the child get it, like I came up at a time, as long as the child get it, it didn't matter what parent did what. I don't know, maybe because my parents was married when they had me. They later got divorced in my life. I was probably like 5 when they got divorced, but they was together for a long time. For a long time before I was even a thought. You know what I'm saying? But I never got that energy from either one of my parents, where my mom threw up in my dad's face, well, I did this for Ashley. Or my dad said, well, I did this for Ashley. There was no scorekeeping. It's just long as me and my brother got what we needed. But in this day and age, when you look on social media, when you're dealing in real life, it becomes a lot of finger pointing. I did this, you did that, you did this, and I did that. We keep scorecards now. When did parenting become a scorecard and become a score competition? When did that happen? Because as long as the child get what they need, that's the ultimate understanding that we need around here. That's the ultimate goal, because it takes 2 people to raise a child. So as long as the child get what they need at the end of the day, regardless on which parent did what, that's all that should matter. So we've gone to a point in our community, especially in our community, because I'm not gonna lie, I don't see that in white communities. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I don't see that in white communities. I see that in our communities. I'll never forget this. The first time I went down to family court, I'm sitting there waiting for my case. There was a white couple, not even a couple, they little white folks. They was literally sitting next to me, and I was ear hustling. Well, the lady was sitting there, and the dude walked up to her. He said, yo, I'm tired of being in here. We've been in here for 3 hours. You get the kids for half the year. I get the kids for half the year. When you have the kids, I'ma help financially. When I have the kids, you take care of this. I'll get them for this month, for this holiday. You get them for this holiday. Cool? She said cool. And they got up and left. Got up and left. So that was just one couple, but that's more of a microcosm to most couples that I see that are white that don't have that issue. Some of my friends who happen to be white, I never hear their mom say, well, I did this for such and such, and your dad didn't do this for you. Because it's not about keeping score. It's about that child getting what's theirs, or not getting what's theirs, but getting whatever that could be get from that resource. But in our community, it's highlighted because we do it. It's a part of it's not a it's a part of how, I don't want to say how we parent, but that's just a part of what we see in the makeup and the fabric of our society today, where it's like a tug of war type of thing when it comes to the ebony culture, when it comes to the ebony experience. It becomes a scorecard. I got him some sneakers. You didn't get him no sneakers yet. As long as the child gets some sneakers. I bought him a whole wardrobe. I'm not going to sit there and say, well, you didn't get this or you didn't get that, as long as the child get what they need. So when did parenting become a scorecard? And what people don't realize, kids see that, and what do you think they're going to do when they become parents? It's an ongoing cycle. And again, when I was a kid, I had the benefit of not coming up in that. As long as me and my brother got what we needed from either one of our parents, and that's all that mattered. That's all that mattered. So I just don't understand where we get to in society, where we get to that model now where we keep in a scorecard. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Malu. They forget that children is going out of their way to find their own soul family. It should be if you can do 100%, not complaining about what you did for your baby 100%. Okay, I like that, because some people think their children will be forever home. Okay, okay, so there's aspects of what you're saying, right? That keeps the family divided. Facts. So there's aspects of what y'all saying that's absolutely correct, right? But the added portion of it is the lasting effect that it has to the family in itself. It's a lasting effect, because a lot of parents, and I say this all the time, there's no book to this shit. There's no book to parenting. You only do the best that you can do. And some people say, well, I'm giving my kids what I never got. For sure. Because all our form of parenting, because as parents, we didn't ask to be here either. So all our form of parenting is a form of what we did not receive and what we did receive as children. Whatever that we thought was positive as children that we got from our parents, we give to our children. Whatever things that we deem negative, we don't give to our children. And sometimes, not sometimes, but there's times where children don't see the lesson. So there's a difference between the lesson that you're trying to give the child and what they receive from it. That's what goes to your statement in particular, Malu, when you say children are trying to find their soul parents or soul family. And keep it a buck with you, you only get one. You only get one. You only get one set of parents, one mom, one dad. Now, you may have other people that come in your life that love on you, like a mom, like a dad. They are figure, but they not mom and they not dad. So your true soul family is your original soul family. Even if you disagree with them, even if y'all have nothing in common, that's still your lineage to the rest of the world. In order to go further, you have to know where you come from. And you also have to understand their journey as well. Because this shit is a journey, and it's very easy to mitigate your parents' experiences when you're a kid. But based on your parents' experiences is why most children get the lessons that they get from their parents. Like, there's things that I wanted my daughter to fully understand as a father. Whether she got it right then and then 10 years later, she'll get it later. I still had to instill it in her because there was things that happened that I want to make sure as a young lady, she understands how this is how young ladies move. And it's not saying anything negative, obviously, of my child, because that's my child, but getting her to understand something, there's a possibility she could have walked away with having a different mindset because the lesson I was trying to teach her may not added up to what was that she took from it. See what I'm saying? So it's no book to this shit. All parents can do is their best. When I was a kid, I ain't gonna front, I judged the shit out of my parents too. We all do. But when you get older and you start seeing the lesson, you like, oh damn, my bad. I ain't know. My bad. Sorry, mom. I'm sorry, dad. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So we have to look at it from that aspect, but parents keeping scorecards is the gateway to all of that. It's the gateway to all of that because it keeps everything separate and it gives a child an unrealistic version of what life is, as if somebody owe you something. Even when you are the parent, your parent don't owe you jack shit. They didn't ask to be here either, but they had you. They had you. A responsible parent will do their job. Will take care of you. We'll make sure that you're safe. We'll make sure that you get food and shelter and clothing, and make sure you get a navigational system. Yes, that's responsibility, for sure. A responsible parent will do that, for sure. For sure. But at the end of the day, this scorekeeping thing also gives children an unrealistic understanding of what life is really about. That like they owed something. Christmas is coming up. What you getting me? I had a younger cousin, because every time I would see him, I would hook him up with something. And this one particular time, I didn't hook him up with nothing. He was like, "What you got for me?" I said, "What I got for you?" And I had to redirect my little cousin. Had to redirect him. And the next time he seen me, he just wanted a 5. He just wanted a dap. Like, "Yo, what's good? What's good, Unc?" You know what? I'm older than him, so he called me Unc. But he was like, "Yo, what's good?" He was appreciative of the dap. You know what I'm saying? So again, it gives people or kids an unrealistic view of what life is really about. Like somebody owe you something, and the world don't owe you jack. You gotta go out there and get it. But as parents, the scorekeeping stuff need to cease, because again, it gives kids an unrealistic view of what life is about, and then it separates the family even further. As long as the kid get what they need, that's all that matters. Kids are not free. They mad expensive. Baby daddy. Not, of course. But again, the rules don't change when these kids get here. That'd be my thing too. When they were speaking on Amina Butterfly in the post that I put up, and they was like, they agree with her, the fact that, if you have a babysitter, it shouldn't cost you half your paycheck, and this, that, and third. Like, I get that, cool, for sure, but you chose to have them kids. It's a choice. And the rules was set before those kids got here. So now that you got some kids, the rules are going to change for you? I'm hungry. I shouldn't have to pay for food. We all eat around here. Nah, it's been like this. We got to pay for food around here, cuz. So that's the point that I'm trying to drive home. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. My picks is in NFL. I can't do college because college game is played tomorrow, the national championship. I will reiterate, I have Indiana beating Miami for tomorrow's game. It's going to be a good game, though. Very good game, very close game. But I have Indiana beating Miami. But for the NFL, My pick six is in. So I had the Bills beating the First game I called, Bills versus Broncos. I had the Broncos upsetting the Bills. The Broncos won 33-30. Very great game, back and forth game. The, I want people to understand the format of the NFL. Get you a defense. Get you a defense. If you get you a defense, you could play deep into the playoffs. Because these games was defense ridden. I mean, the Broncos was putting it on the Bills all game long. Until the very end of the game. They got caught slipping. The Bills came back, made a game of it. Could have won the game. Could have won the game, but they did not. Broncos again beat the Bills 33-30. Starting quarterback Bo Nix for the Broncos will be out for the remainder of the season. I believe he has some sort of Achilles injury, which will keep him out for an extended period of time. So obviously the remainder of the year, the full next year, and the year, I won't say the year after that, but definitely the full year next year, he will be out. So it's quite interesting. What are they going to do moving forward? Being that they playing in the conference championship next week. If they win next game, they go to the Super Bowl. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do moving forward regarding the quarterback position. They have a great defense. Their defense is, I mean, they were super nasty in those first three quarters. They eased up thinking that the Bills would call it quits, and they turned it up. So they're going to really have to turn it up without their starting quarterback moving forward. Next game I'll call 49ers versus the Seahawks. I had the Seahawks winning this game. The Seahawks won this game 41-6. The Seahawks is, oh my God, scary. Oh my God, scary. They won this game. But after the first play, in my opinion, you see the energy that the Seahawks had. They returned the kick in the kickoff, the very first play. Their energy was just on a whole nother level. Then probably the first play or the second play on defense for the Seahawks, they had an opportunity where they could have scored again off the defense. So that energy it was extremely too high. The 49ers had no answers for them at all. And I don't know, man. If Sam Darnold, and I've said this before, if he plays well, they win. If he plays bad, they lose. Simple and plain. But he's playing well enough for them to win. And moving forward, I don't know. They might be a favorite. I'm calling it week to week. I'm not going to say which team is going to win the Super Bowl as of yet, but it's week to week for me. But it was a complete mismatch. Complete mismatch. Next game I called Texans versus the Patriots. I said this will probably be one of the best games all playoff, and it lived up. Both teams' defense came to play. The Texans' defense is nothing to be trifled with. Nothing to be trifled with. They're physical, they fast, they make plays on the back end of that defense. They get to the quarterback, they hit play after play. They're physical. Same thing with the Patriots. Same thing with the Patriots. They get after you. They got some hitters on that team. They get after you. And I love this game, the hard-hitting nature of it, the physicality of it. To me, this was the best playoff game that we've seen all playoffs. Me personally, even though the weather wasn't great, both teams, both KJ Stroud and oh my God, the quarterback for the Patriots, his name is drawing a blank right now, Drake May. They both played terrible. They both played terrible. They didn't play well. And that was mainly due to how physical and fast both teams' defense are. It was no day at the beach. They played terrible. They played so bad, like you wondered if they could play quarterback in this league. Obviously they can because they're both great players. They've had great games, but in this game they was absolute dog ass. but it was still a great game. It was still a great game. I had the Texans winning this game, but they lost. The Patriots won that game as well. I don't know why I don't have the score here. Let me update these scores. So the Patriots won this game, I believe, by 2 touchdowns. They won 28-16. 28-6. The score is not indicative of the game. It was a much closer game than what the score lends. Next game I called Rams versus Bears. I had the Rams winning this game. The Rams won 20-17. This game was much closer than I anticipated. Caleb Williams, his best years is ahead of him. I'm glad he was able to get a coach that could rein him in a little bit, because the hardest plays he make look easy, and the easy plays he make look hard. If he could just play on schedule every play, the special plays would just come, because there's things that he could do with his arm that most quarterbacks can't do in the league. Maybe I'll say 5 other guys in the NFL could do what Caleb Williams can do capability-wise, or he can do what they can do, I should say. But it just wasn't enough. And honestly, I don't think they had a proper game plan to win. They didn't play through Coast and Loveland like they were supposed to. If they would have played through Coast and Loveland, they would have won this game. But they didn't. They lost 20-17. The Rams didn't play particularly well, but they played well on defense. They played well on defense, and they was able to get the win, and they won 20-17. So this conference finals is going to be, conference championship is going to be a good one. You got the Rams versus the Seahawks, and I have to point out, I think this is obvious. The NFC West is the best division in NFL. The NFC West this year is the best division in football. There's no, we can't debate that at all, correct? You talk about a 49er team who was kind of injured, but they got the doors blown off by Seahawks, another NFC West team. So that's 2 NFC West teams. And then the third, you have in the Rams. So we have a conference championship being represented by 2 NFC West teams. They're the best, they're the best division in the NFL. And then you have the Bucks. You have the Broncos versus the Patriots. Due to the Broncos situation, even though the Broncos defense is one of the best defenses we have in the NFL, them not having Bo Nix next week will be a factor. So, again, I'm going to have new picks for the next episode, but I'm definitely leaning towards the Patriots as of right now. They have a complete team. And I don't know if they can make that type of adjustments. The Broncos can make that type of adjustments against the Patriots in 1 week in this type of game. So that's my pick. That's my picks for this week. Again, I had the Broncos beating the Bills. They won. I had the Seahawks beating the 49ers. They won. I had the Texans beating the Patriots. They lost. And I had the Rams beating the Bears, and the Rams won that game. So that's my picks for the NFL this week. Also in NFL news, Jim Harbaugh is the new head coach of the New York Giants, which is big news. I like that for Jim Harbaugh. I like that for the Giants. I think he suits them perfectly on what they're trying to do and what they need to do. I still don't think the New York Giants necessarily have fully found their core. Jackson Dart has a lot of talent. He showed me way more than I thought he would do in the NFL, to be honest with you. But he has the type of talent that you could build a franchise with. Cam Scatterbull, question mark. Obviously, he is a talent. Obviously, that's not. I love his energy, love his demeanor. I loved him at Arizona State, but he had a collarbone injury for a running back. Even though he's been sitting out and he's been healing, that doesn't give me jubilation that my star young running back is sitting out with a collarbone injury, and when he comes back, we have to make sure that that he changed his style up a little bit. Can't run over everybody in this league. You're going to get hurt quick. So I think there's going to be some core changes, due to their team. Also, Malik Neighbors. I think Malik Neighbors is one of the best receivers in the league, one of the absolute best. But he was hurt the whole year. So you have these injuries, and you figure like, yeah, guys just going to come back and they're going to get right to it. We don't know until they come back. Injuries do change players. So we will see. But I do like the fit, and see what Jim Harbaugh, or John Harbaugh, I said Jim, right? John Harbaugh could do with the Giants. Kevin Stefanski is the new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It kills me that people say, well, he's a 2-time coach of the year. So what? So what? We've had artists win album of the year and then come out with a doozy the next album. What are we talking about? We've had players who had great years and they come back and have stinkers. We view players as, what have you done for me lately? Why don't we do that with coaches? Kevin Stefanski, he was a part of the shit show in Cleveland. He was a part of that. And for the last 3 years, even though he's probably the most winningest, not the most, I'm not even sure he's the most winningest, but as of recently, he was the most winningest Browns coach in a long time. That doesn't mean he was successful in the last 3 years. He didn't win many games in the last 3 years. And you get the Atlanta job? Do you know what they have in Atlanta? They got nuclear bombs in Atlanta. They got a nice, young, hungry defense that they could build and make that defense even better. Their offensive team, the cast that they have in Atlanta on their offense, it don't get no better than that. Outside of getting a quarterback, it don't get no better than that. They got a championship riddled cast in Atlanta when it comes to their offense. When it comes to their defense, they're going to continue to build on that defense. But their defense, you can build with, and you could win these big games. But their offense, their firepower is through the roof. It's through the roof, and I wouldn't give Kevin Stefanski that. Look, I'm saying, like, look what he did in Atlanta. I mean, look what he did with Cleveland. So now you give him more firepower to do what? What is he going to do? Look what Deshaun Watson looked like under his tutelage. Because mind you, before Deshaun Watson got hurt, Deshaun Watson, I mean, look what he looked like with the Texans, and look what he looked like with Cleveland. He looked like a shell of himself in Cleveland. And you had top-tier talent. So, I mean, and it's not even close to the offensive talent you're getting in Atlanta. But he hasn't done nothing for real with the Browns to get that job. And this is why I say all teams don't care about winning. When you hire a Kevin Stefanski, the Atlanta Falcons is telling their fan base, yo, we don't even care, yo. We just hired a coach. He's not the right guy for that job. What are we talking about? There's other offensive coordinators in the league that have been way more creative in the last 3 years than Kevin Stefanski as the head coach in Cleveland. They was better off bringing in McDaniels as an offensive coordinator opposed to Kevin Stefanski as a head coach. So it's like, Atlanta, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? So don't like the coaching hire in Atlanta. The Browns, Steelers, Cardinals, Ravens, Bills, and Dolphins are still looking for their head coach. And we're going to see regarding moving forward. Shout out to Dez in the building. Appreciate you for tapping and hit them likes, hit the 100s. Cross-platforming on both platforms. Shout out to X. In the TikTok. So it's going to be interesting moving forward which other coaches get those jobs. Again, you have the Browns, Steelers, Cardinals, Ravens, Bills, Dolphins jobs. open for head coaching. If I'm a coach, the job I would probably want the most out of, or I definitely wanted that Falcons job. I would want that Falcons job more than any of these jobs. But moving forward, I would say I would want that Bills job. I would want that Bills job, even though I don't want to be in Buffalo. But you have Allen, and as long as you have Allen, you have the ability to build the team. I would make that defense better. I'll get my defense all the way better, because when you look at the difference between some of these teams, Broncos, Patriots, Texans, Seahawks, those defenses are next level. So I wanna build a solid defense. I want to find me a number one receiver. I'm gonna make sure that I get guys that could protect Josh Allen. I would keep my running back. So, you have a lot of tools to build with Josh Allen. Now, if we're just talking about lifestyle and I could build everything how I want to build it straight from scratch with the jobs that I left, I would definitely take that Dolphins job. Definitely. I'll be in Miami. What free agent is going to want to say no to coming to Miami? So I get to build it from the scratch. I get to find me a quarterback. I get to build my defense. I get to build my offense. So if it's just a lifestyle thing, coaching thing, it would definitely be the Dolphins. If it's just a football thing, it would be the Bills. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. I'll keep the lie alive segment. Shout out to the chat. Again, hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. So my keep the lie alive for this episode is, somebody needs to hear this. Be a man of your word. Be a man of your word. Ladies, be a woman of your word too. Be a woman of your word. But fellas, be a man of your word. I don't think most men understand. When you're not a man of your word, you're deemed less than in society. You're deemed less than in your personal relationships, because you're not a man of your word. You don't stand on anything. Being a man of your word is a bigger currency than cash. Being a man of your word is a bigger currency than cash. Because one, you stand on something. You stand on some sort of morality. You stand on some sort of code and ethics. But when your word don't mean jack shit because you can't keep it, you're looked as less than. And I can't say it more plain than that, more real than that. Be a man of your word. Being a man of your word garners respect, admiration. You get looked in a much different level by being a man of your word, by doing what you're going to say that you do, by doing what you say you're going to do. Let your yes be a yes. Let your no be a no. And if you have a maybe, be admirable in doing it. Be a man in doing it. That's why that's why the society that we have today with men. And what that means is men fear other men. Let me say that again. Men fear other men. What that means is if you get into an issue with a woman, all due respect, He's not fearing the woman. He's fearing the fact that he has to deal with a man at the end of that. He got to deal with the cops. He has to deal with some sort of figure that has to handle that. So if you're not a man of your word, you're looked at as less than, because you don't stand on anything. You're not about anything. You're not dependable. Be a man of your word. Ladies, be a woman of your word too. And there's nothing wrong with even changing your mind, but be a woman in doing it. Fellas, be a man in doing so. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Because you lose respect. You lose the respect from your peers and from the people around you. So that's my keep the lie alive for this episode. Be a man of your word. Men that don't keep their word lose their value. And that's one thing that no man wants to hear. That you lost value because you can't keep your word. Shout out to my dog Vic in the building. Can we please get a rap? Word is everything. That's a fact. My dog Vic, big badge holder, one of our day ones in the building. That's a fact, man. Word is everything. As a man, your word is everything. I gotta say this too. Being a man is not about being financially or being, the toughest or the roughest, but your word is everything, yo. Like you gain so much respect by you keeping your word. And there's the opposite when you don't. If you can't keep your word, you gatekeep yourself. Fellas, if you don't keep your word, you gatekeep yourself. So that's my keep the lie alive for this episode. Be a man of your word. It's about accountability. Can't agree with you more, bro. That's a fact, Vic. That's a fact. That is a fact. How can a man call himself a man if he doesn't keep his word? He's not accountable. How do you look yourself in the mirror? It's just super foul. It's just super foul. It's super foul. Those type of men only look to take and never to give. And they're given, they already owe. It's old for you to give. Hopefully some will get it. But y'all been absolutely amazing. Episode 230. That's a lot of episodes, y'all. That's a lot of episodes. So I want to thank y'all for supporting this pod immensely each and every episode, every Sunday, every Wednesday at 10:30. And we have a good time. Like, again, we talk about everything. If this is your first time tuning in, tapping in. And I'll see y'all soon this Wednesday. Also, be on the lookout for the new OUV Records app. It's being developed. It's such a fire app. And again, it's going to give a way better listening experience and a better overall experience to the supporters and the listeners of OUV Records music. So be on the lookout for that new OUV Records app. I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Also, be on the lookout for the new comics and animation on World Domination. That's also in the works as we speak right now. And again, y'all, don't forget to tap into those videos, those shorts. I have over 600 rewatchable videos on the Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast playlist. Wow, I said that right. So make sure y'all go tap into that. as well. Again, engage, leave comments, leave them likes, leave them 100s in the comments as well. I appreciate it as always. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 12. So again, hit that all notification bell. I do pop up throughout the week, and take advantage of those memberships. You see big badge holders up and through the chat. So make sure y'all take advantage of those badge holders. If you're on my TikTok and you want to be on the YouTube, it's at Ashley Lovechild. And for my people on YouTube and you want to be on TikTok, I'm at Ashley Lovechild Mojo. So make sure y'all tune and tap in. Again, I will be back this Wednesday as scheduled, 10:30. So make sure y'all, share the live and bring some more people in with you. 20K by the summer. That's a fact. 20K by the summer. You already know how we doing it. That's a fact, Vic. That's a fact. 20K by the summer. I love it. So again, continue to support, and it's greatly appreciated by myself. And again, it's the first time tapping in. I am Ashley Lovechild. Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast? Make sure you hit them likes. Hit the 100s on your way out of the chat. It helps with the growth of the show. And y'all already know, man. Don't be an agent of chaos. Do not be a stain. Do not have the ability to stand out for being negative. Have the ability to stand out by being positive. Lose that Willie Lynch mindset. The only op we recognize over here is opportunity. We only celebrate life culture. Hate has a location. It's just not here. Y'all already know, man. It's love. And I'm going to see y'all this Wednesday at 10:30. I'm out.